And there is, for example, these principles of trauma-informed practice. That is something which will be that is relevant to both children, young people, and adults. Looking at kind of the social models of care similarly across both. So yeah, I mean, as I say, they were two separate documents, but actually those bits that kind of seem, well, that are intended to cover both were so similar. There were obviously specific the specifics and the way it's taken forward will differ, but the actual principles are actually very, very similar across. And I think we need to recognise that actually the children aren't in isolation. They're part of this, they're part of a family, they're part of a kind of society. So there's such so much interlink between how we can't just look at a child in isolation. We need to be looking at kind of that whole family, that relational approach to mental health as well. So it's not just about kind of looking individually, children, young people, and adults. But yeah, I mean, I do kind of take on board, and there has been sort of a bit of a way up as to how do we approach this? Do we have it together? Do we completely, are these two separate things? Are they together? But I can, as I say, when we come to the action planning, we'll very much be looking at that, the children and young people as a separate group.
I could explain a little bit more. If I take a specific example from my own recent experience, there are issues which generally affect younger people more. And I'll pick an example, and that is typically affects most younger females, and that is mental issues to do with image and anorexia, and that sort of thing. I mean, it's your professional area, not mine. I'm working from my own experiences, and I think that maybe requires different approaches than it does from an adult perspective. And I've just there picked on one specific example of what I see from my experience of mental health issues.
Yeah, I mean, I take that on board, that I guess how the strategy hasn't identified specifically I suppose with what we're the sort of more the psychosocial kind of approach and the trauma-informed approach is sort of recognizing that trying to support that. So let's kind of go. I suppose the anorexia side of things is, I guess, manifestation, I suppose, of mental health concern, as opposed to, and that is one manifestation. Obviously, this isn't going through in a lot of detail around this. That is an important part. So I suppose it is part of a wider consideration around when we're looking at kind of access, for example, or prevention. Are these going to be some of our priorities for how we're going to deliver this in children and young people, and definitely something to consider when we're developing those action plans there. So but yeah, thank you. I take that on board.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing the action plan, because hopefully that addresses my concern.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? No. So again, the recommendation was just to review and comment on the strategy and so on. So thank you for your report and for answering the questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next item of the agenda is just to look at the draft work programme. I think there's only, was it one more meeting before the next, before the next year. So yeah, so the forward work plan is on page 138 of your agenda pack. That's 142 of the PDF. The next meeting is on the 28th of February, and we have 4 items: the virtual school annual report, children's services improvement plan, the child death overview panel annual report, and a school performance of different ethnic groups in Luton compared to the whole of Luton and to ethnic groups nationally. And then the future items will be carried over into the next municipal year. Any questions, comments? No? Everybody's cold and want to get home and get warm. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll discuss that with. Yeah. 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 No, absolutely. And I'll discuss that with Diraj, Teresa, and co. In our sort of follow-up meeting after today. Yeah. Yeah. So just to sort of inform you, this relates to I guess the issue of traffic around schools and the risks that poses to children in terms of, you know, dropping off and picking up and so on. So you know, perhaps we can discuss that in our meeting, and whether that actually falls under Children's Services Review Group or whether that comes under some other, OSB or something like that. But yeah, I'll say that on board, Jeff, and we'll cover that. Yeah. Do you, can you send your mic on?
Oh, it is on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Some time ago, we were talking about having a look at some of the unregistered schools in Luton. That was quite a long time ago, and I don't think anything's been discussed on that for some time. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Can we have some heating, please, next time?
Either that, or maybe we can do a few star jumps.
You could bring your own heater with you. Lots.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for braving the cold, and see you next time. Cheers.
Sorry. Teresa.